Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Learn Math with Priti. If math feels difficult, you are in the right place. The topic for today is accuracy, which is the first topic from IGCSE syllabus. I hope after this lecture you all will be able to solve the problems from this topic very easily. So let's start for today. So, as I told you, the topic for today is accuracy. So first we'll understand what do you mean by this word accuracy. So whenever you start a topic, it's very important to understand what is the meaning of that word. So what does actually mean accuracy? Accuracy means being correct or exact, or in other words we can also say that how close we are to the actual answer is called as accuracy. How close the true value is to the answer we get is called as accuracy. Now to find out accurate answers is important in every field, whether it may be an engineer or a doctor or anyone. It is very important to find accurate answers. We need accurate readings in every place. So how do we do that? Now how do we find out accurate answers? Now answers are accurate depending upon certain rules. So we can find out answers accurate up to tens, hundreds, thousands and so on. Similarly, we can also find out accurate answers up to 1 dp. dp here means decimal place, 2 dp, 3 dp and so on. So accurate answers are found either up to nearest tens, hundreds, thousands or 1 dp, 2 dp, 3 dp and so on. So first we need to understand we can find out accurate answers according to this method. Now there is easy 3 steps to remember how do we find accurate answers. The first step is whenever we are finding an answer accurate up to certain given value. Suppose let's take up an example as 4, 5, 9, 2, 8. We have to find out this accurate up to the nearest tens. Okay, we are finding out accurate up to the nearest tens. So first rule, make a line after the place value. So we have to find out according to the tens. So I have put a line. You always put a line. Then second, check the number after the line. Check the number after the line. Third, if the number is 5 or more than 5, then we add 1 to the previous number. And if it is less than 5, then the number remains as it is. So here if you see the number is 8. After the line the number is 8. So it is obviously more than 5, right? So we will add 1 to the previous number. And what will happen to the number after the line? So always remember, after the line all the numbers become 0. So this when rounded off to the nearest tens will become 45,930. Now let's take up one more example. The same number, now we will round off up to the nearest hundreds. Suppose we take the same number, but now we round off up to the nearest hundreds. So which is the hundreds place value? This, right? So we will put a line after hundreds, right? The first step done. Then we will check the number after the line. Second step also done. Is it more than 5 or less than 5? It's less than 5. So what we will do? We will keep this number as it is. And what will happen to these two numbers? They will become 0. So this is 45900. So 45,900 when we round off it to the nearest hundreds. So this is when you round off up to the nearest tens, 100, 1000 and so on. Now we will try and round off the numbers up to 1 dp, 2 dp, 3 dp for the decimal numbers in short. So let me take a number 45.9267. Suppose if they tell us to round off up to 1 dp. So when we round off 45.9267 up to 1 dp, as I told you, first dp is 9. We put a line after the first decimal place. Then we check the second number. What is it? 2. That is obviously less than 5. So we keep 9 as it is. So this will be 45.9. Here we are not putting 0 because they have only told us to write up to 1 dp. They want our answer only up to 1 decimal place. So we will write only up to 1 decimal place. Now there are many other rules also in which we find accurate answers. Not necessarily every time they will tell you 1 dp, 2 dp. There is one more way of finding out nearest accurate answer, that is significant figures. Sometimes you also may be asked that you have to find out numbers accurate up to 2 significant figures or 4 significant figures or 1 significant figure. SF here means significant figure. So for that you need to understand first what is this significant figures, right? So for understanding the rules of significant figures, there are basically 4 important rules to understand which figures are called as significant figures. Okay, so we will start with the significant figure rules. So the first rule, very important. All the rules are very important. First, non-zero numbers are always significant. So this rule, as it is self-explanatory, that whatever numbers are not 0, numbers after 0, that's from 1 to whatever you say, are all significant numbers. Second, in between zeros are significant. The second point says that, as they told, non-zero numbers are always significant, but zeros are also significant only when they are in between the numbers. If there are two non-zero numbers in between, if there are two zeros or something, so this also become significant because they are in between two non-zero numbers. This is the second rule. Third rule says that leading zeros are never significant. What does it mean? Leading zeros means there are zeros at the start of a number. So all these zeros are not significant because they are leading zeros. And the fourth point says that trailing zeros are sometimes significant. Okay, what does the word trailing mean? Trailing means, leading means the number zeros before a number. Trailing means the zeros after a number. Okay, so there are many zeros after the number. So they are sometimes significant and sometimes not significant. So we will understand when they are significant and when they are not significant. Suppose now, as we have taken a number here, 45,000. There are 3 zeros here. These are not significant because they are numbers, they are trailing zeros. Now if I take a number like 42.000, these are significant. Suppose it is 42.5000. These are significant. Why? Because they are after the decimal points. So we understood that trailing zeros, if there is no decimal point, they are not significant. But if there is a decimal point in the number, then these trailing zero also become significant. Is that clear? Now, I hope it is very clear. These 4 rules are very important to understand which numbers are significant, which are not, and how to round off them up to nearest significant value. So now we will take up an example to understand actually how we find out the numbers accurate up to the given significant figure value. So if we have a number, say 48599, they tell us to round off up to one significant figure, or to write this number up to one significant figure. How do we do that? Which is the first significant figure? As this, the first number is the first significant figure. Again, the same rule applies here also. We will put a line after the first number. After that, what we will do, we will check the second number. What is the second number? 8. It is more than 5. So what are we supposed to do? We will add 1 to the previous number. So 4 becomes 5. And what about the remaining numbers? As I told, all the numbers will become 0. So when you round off this to one significant figure, you get 50,000. Now second, let's take up a decimal point example, 0.08625, and we will find it up to two significant figure. Okay, so we have to find this correct up to two significant figures. So as I told you, leading zeros are not significant, so these two are not significant, but this two numbers are significant. So now as two significant figures, so first and second, so we will put a line after the second significant figure. Then we check the next number, that is 2, which is less than 5. So we will keep this 6 as it is. So the number becomes 0.086. And we are not supposed to write two zeros here. Why? As I told you, trailing zeros sometimes are significant, and there is a decimal point. So if I put 0 here, it will become significant, and then it will become 4 significant figures. But we need to write answer only up to 2 significant figures. So we stop here. Okay, that's it for today. I hope I have covered everything in accuracy. Let's give you a challenge question. I'll give you a question, not a difficult one, an okay one. Just try and find the answer of this nearest to 3 significant figure and comment down and give me the answer. I will check and let you know. If any doubts or any queries, please post them down in the comments. I will solve them as soon as possible. That's it for this topic for today. Thank you for watching the video.